Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
You said how? And I said what? And you said, the Soundcore Motion X600. Well, it's only going to have the greatest firmware update of all time. And it now sounds better than ever. And I thought, well, it never sounded great to me, personally, that to start with. And now you're saying it's even better, or it's now completely sorted if you don't know, if you've just walked into the room. Along came, everything was going fine. Soundcore, oh, you got the Motion Boom, the Motion Plus, the other speakers that I can't think of, but were really good value speakers. The Soundcore Boost, that little thing. Couldn't argue about it. Thank goodness for Soundcore. They saved us from the big brands, the big logos, for which you pay a premium. But then came the Soundcore Motion X600. It looked very, very pretty. It's got a lovely metal lifestyle type look. Metal, and it's got that thing, what we call, they call, but I don't call, they call spatial audio.
Spatial audio.
Spatial audio. We've never had that. Oh, hang on a second. Spatial audio, aka stereo. Just to go over this one more time. One more time. All together now. Spatial audio is stereo. Yes, anything that creates a 3D image is technically spatial audio. It's not Atmos, Dolby Surround, or any surround actual formats. DTS, the likes of that are actual formats that are decoded into separate channels. And when you have a proper setup, it's 360. Now here, get hold of what I just said. 360. Surround sound, 360. Spatial audio, as in stereo, not 360. It's a flat image, but it's a 3D image in front of you. And that's the thing. It was really, really annoying to me. And a lot of other people, not everybody, some people said, wow, 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 give us more, more, more. It's false marketing. It is false marketing to say spatial audio, to fool people into thinking that doesn't mean stereo. Now, they want the marketing, because they think they try and tell you to use this as a home theatre. We know. I'm not a shill, but we've outed almost every shill on YouTube, because they all got a Soundcore Motion X600, and they get 500 and all the rest, and 300 and the rest and rest and rest. Sponsored videos, a lot of them didn't even label it sponsored videos, getting bucks in their pocket, taking the money and telling you absolutely anything that's in the script, quite honestly. Part of that script was selling it as a home theatre replacement, as though you can use it as a soundbar. There's no HDMI to start with. Okay, you want to use HDMI. I know we've got digital and all, but really, it's all about HDMI. Now, it runs on batteries. Do you really want to keep recharging it? And it doesn't decode anything. It doesn't. No. It doesn't decode anything. It just plays stereo, and then woo-hoo, look what we got, an upward firing drive. I think they've chopped and changed what they call it. It's another drive that fires up. They called it a Sky Drive, and I think they've called it other things. So on the X600, tweeters, woofers, passive radiator, and upward firing driver. I know we've got what they'd like you to think is a center channel. It isn't. They're remixing stereo into an upward firing driver. We got into it. Now, I know I've been sitting here for 5 minutes and I've told you nothing. Actually, that's pretty good. I'm almost getting to the nitty gritty. 2 months away. Nothing has changed. But hang on a second now. Yeah. X600. Right, we're doing a firmware update. Yep, get to it. You can see I'm still a bit rusty around the edges. I don't know what I'm doing here, because it's been 2 months. You last saw me at Christmas.
It's beginning to look like Christmas.
And do you know what? By the way, a lot of you say it's nice to see you back on YouTube, because I posted something, another firmware update, blah blah blah. For the Charge 5 was, yes. And by the way, I've been sort of active anyway all this time on Instagram. It's quite easy just to post stuff. So just to know, I don't do the and like and subscribe and it helps me out, blah blah blah. But by the way, it does. And if you comment, but I am on Instagram. I'm just putting that out there. Anyway, I've just put it out there. Right. Firmware. Let's get on with it. But one thing I did write down. I told you right in the beginning. I told you. They keep doing these early birds. Is there hands up anybody who still thinks early bird means you get a bloody good deal? well then you want to get out more, mate. Because I told you earlier, you will always be cheaper than the early bird. The early bird was retail 200 quid, and if you do the early bird and you give them a quid and you give them all these details, see what you did? You gave them all the details. If you do all that, you get it for 150 quid. And I said it's still going to be cheap, but I thought, to me, this is a £120 speaker. And as I checked today, it's 140 quid, 150 US dollars. Do you see what happened? It's not an early bird deal. You get that anyway. They just make it up these prices. Right. Got that one out of the way. Did I write anything else down? Oh, I wrote down, it's the biggest rip-off since Natasha from Below Deck's OnlyFans. That's an in-house joke, but it may be a little bit true. Now, here we go. Below Deck, by the way, is a TV series about sailing on a yacht. Anyway, it's really popular, and there's lots of different ones. But anyway, I digress. And if I didn't digress, what is the point of me doing this? The point of me is to sit here is to enjoy it. And by the way, so I'm slightly enjoying it now. That's the whole point. I'm back. Because I enjoy it, and I was getting a bit stale and rusty, and things were making me fed up. And one of them was this particular speaker. By the way, what's better than one... I did that, didn't I? I can't remember now. Did I do the joke? What's better than one Soundcore Motion X600? No Motion X600. But I do have two Motion X600s. Now, the other thing, there's lots of dodgy stuff going on with the speaker, but for me, the biggest deal was that bass. It's a bit of a one-note upper bass, semi-mid punch that a lot of people seem to think that's bass when it's very narrow bass. Apparently, I don't know anything about bass. And by the way, those people tend to not know anything about bass. But anyway, we'll get on to... No, we won't go to that later. Yeah, right. It's just like old times, isn't it? It's like I've not been away. I'm really enjoying this because if I don't waffle, what's the point? I don't have a script. Well, I sort of have a script. I just have little bits of notes. So my main note was about Natasha from Below Deck. Oh, yeah, so I've got two... Right, so if you didn't know, this has been the most ridiculous story since... I can't live with... The most ridiculous story since Natasha from Below Deck. I don't know. From... I said in-house, you just won't get it. So, loads of different tunings. It was, for me, still... There's a bass overdrive, distorting, makes it unusable. Not just on one. I bought another one just to make sure it wasn't my unit, because the bloke from Soundcore, who doesn't even work there anymore, good, told me, oh, it's just my unit, by the way. So I bought another unit. And you know what? It's exactly the same. But I got lucky because it's a different firmware. Why are the different firmwares? Well, we know it means there's different hardware, even if it's just the chip. But hang on a second. I asked them, why is it different firmware? And they said, well, it's the same. But we know there's 4XX running, there's 3XX running, and there's million. Well, there were million. I don't know how many firmware out there at the moment, but I can tell you, even I still have two. Well, I did before the update. So, right, here we are. We are 10 minutes in, if I haven't cut anything, and go. Right. How many times have I said to you, oh, and they just say fix bugs, fix bugs, fix bugs, and since I've been saying it, we find a lot of them are now telling you a bit more. So now they're actually saying adjust the EQ. On both of my speakers with different firmwares, adjust EQ. One of them was on 3.2.1 and one was on 4.2.9. They sounded different. And this is the thing, guys. Even though you keep telling me, and it sounds brilliant and it's fantastic, you all got different speakers. They're all sounding different. And it doesn't seem to matter. But, well, it should. If it was that great, they'd all have the same tuning. So the difference between my 4.29 and my 3.2.1 was 3.2.1 had a lot less bass, a lot more mids and highs, so overall it sounded brighter. It was already a bright sounding speaker to me, but anyway, sounded even brighter, sound completely different, same speaker, all right? So you've all been telling me it's all been fixed, okay? That's what you told me. Now, it's going to get really interesting if you stick with this video. So the starting point was already 4.2.9. Imagine you liked it so much, you bought another one. And by the way, this will only pair with another speaker of the same type. Won't do party mode, it will do in stereo with one other. Don't get 100, because that would be pointless and you'll be on eBay all night. So you bought another one because, oh, I really like this one. You're a little bit deaf. And it sounds different. Different firmware. You can't get the same firmware because one's running on 3 and one's running on 4XX. Now, that's really bad, as if there wasn't enough that was really, really bad and a complete mess with this speaker already. So, that was the stinking point and the starting point. Let's do the firmware update. They've told us it fixed fixes bugs where they will step, but now they're actually saying adjust EQ. That's brilliant. I think we're having an effect actually tell us what's going on, warn us if the sound's going to change. So, updating 4.2.9 to 4.3.2. Have a listen. Well, laughs hysterically. Cue sound clip. Right, why am I laughing? Because you told me it's all fixed now. Have a listen to it now, Al. It's all brilliant, and you was wrong, and you don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't matter if I don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know why? Because I'm making a video, and you don't have to listen. If you don't like what I'm saying, why do you keep watching? But here's the thing. 4.2.9 updated to 4.3.2 takes us back to 3.2.1.
What the was that?
If that's not the biggest joke since someone ordered more ice on the Titanic. Right, okay. Yeah, so it's all so that update made a big difference. But it wasn't like someone said, and I have found out the secret to get the speaker sounding like the Holy Grail. They just said, I'll tell you what, we'll go back to an EQ we already started with. They started with that EQ. They've gone back to that one. That's why this is my first video, because I know I'm fed up with the speaker. I just want to share with you not only how wrong you guys are telling me it's fixed, because it's only the same firmware that they had before, a few firmwares back, and we are still running different firmwares. So that's what happened with my update. Right, that's what happened with my update to 4.3.2. It just went back to an older firmware. But then what about, if I'm saying it's gone back to 3.2.1, and there's a firmware update, and they're saying exactly the same thing on that one, that it has adjusted the EQ, what's the difference? So let's have a listen to what they call adjusting EQ. Taking them at their word that they've actually did deliberately and have actually changed the EQ, because what I noted is well within we're talking at half a decibel at most. It's well within margin of error. If you listen really close, you can hear it. And the difference is a tad, a slither, a little bit coming off the upper bass, and a tad, a little bit, about half a decibel on the 9 kilohertz mark. That's going to make it even more screechy. Now, that may be real or not, as I said, well within margin of error, but that's the difference that I noted, and they're saying they did. So almost almost only if you really listen to it in an A/B can you hear that slightly brighter. Otherwise you would hear no difference at all. And that's where we are. They've just harmonized sort of the EQs. But having said that, is 4.3.2 now 3.3.2? And the answer to that is, I can't remember if I've got a sound clip to that or not. If I've got a sound clip, it'll go there. And if there isn't, we'll just carry on.
I wanna throw them hands on my hips, got my head spin around. Get you loving on my brain, I'm a little obsessed. Can't stop now, no, we're not done yet. Move like this, I move like that. If you give a little, then I give it right back. Come and lay it on your dick till we say goodbye. Do it up like we only got one night.
Where we are now is there's still a difference. We know it's different hardware or it's a different chip, no matter what they're trying to tell us. 4.3.2, 3.3.2, different numbers. Are they the same? Well, we're now back to that little bit of difference. So it's a clear difference, but a little bit of a difference because it's around that 9 kilohertz. So my 3.3.2, it's definitely brighter around that 9 kilohertz mark. And there's a tad less in the mid bass. Still not the same. So I said, so it seems the big changes everyone was talking about, but it was actually just reverting back to originals. Just shows how little you so-called audiophiles. We know it's a fake audiophile speaker because it's bass light and it's bright, and all of them, every one of them, even so-called experienced ones. I just find it incredible. All these audiophiles that are not actually listening to £10,000 worth of gear and actually listen to Bluetooth speakers while saying they know all about music, every one of them does not understand real bass. I'm going to demonstrate that right now to every one of you sitting there saying, don't know what he's talking about, this is the best speaker since the last best speaker. Here's my graph. Against the original track, do you notice it's quite bright? I mean, I've seen brighter speakers. It's pretty bright, but it's even brighter sounding because it can't do any of the bass. At best, around the 50% mark, the mid bass is just about hitting where the mid bass should be, but the rest of it is bass light. It's bass light, it still overdrives. By the way, I could have said this in the beginning, and I might just put this in the beginning as the forerunner anyway. I'm doing this, I've got two speakers, okay? Again, can't take all year to do this speaker. So I've just done it in the mode that most people seem to be listening to it in, spatial audio mode, which just enhances. That's the upward firing driver is active, all modes, but more so in spatial audio mode and with bass up. You can fix the bass problems by turning the bass up off, but then you're even worse off. So that brings us to the end of the video. So there's my graph. At maximum volume, you know, it's the bass is even more gone. There's nothing that can hang on. So there is no proper bass. There's a mid-bass punch that overdrives very easily. It has nothing to do with the original mix, but hey, it sounds more airy because there's an upward firing driver. And so, my friends, I'm only 20 minutes in. I could have done, I know. Stop it. And my phone's in the other room. Don't know what's going on. Right. That was it. I dipped my toes back in the water. We'll see what happens if we knock anything else out later on. But I am active sort of semi-active on Instagram. So I posted some stuff on that, if you're interested. If you're not interested, you're probably not even watching, or you've got this bit, I don't know, just rambling. That's what we do. Animals Reviews, we ramble, but we do give the facts. And conclusion, overview is, the latest firmware on the 4XX rolls back to a previous, I think it was one of the first EQs they had, so nothing really has changed. They've just gone back to a different EQ. I don't know how many EQs are still out in the wild, but I can tell you on my 3XX, it still sounds different to my 4XX. You tell me. who's fooling who here? Even the early bird is now cheaper in the UK than it was for the early bird. This is 120. It doesn't sound awful. It depends on your ears and what you want. But I can understand how some people quite like this. It's because they don't really want to listen to the original track. They don't like a lot of bass. Here's the thing. Big bass doesn't mean boosted bass. I like to always bring up the example of a piano that plays down to 27 hertz. Everybody who says you don't need bass like that, and they say they like proper instruments. Well, good luck listening to your bass drums, your bass guitars, and indeed your piano on anything that's bass light. I leave you with that thought. I may well see you again before the end of the year. I've actually quite enjoyed sitting here, so I may well do it again. Yes, I rambled, and I ain't gonna change because that's why I enjoy it. But at the end of the day, like I just said before, as long as we get the proper facts out, what does it matter? I mean, audio shouldn't be that serious, should it? It should not be the crazy world that it's become. And till Soundcore, I mean, for me, the turning point in getting fed up with audio is Soundcore, paying off all the formerly respected reviewers who now outed as you know, prepared to just read the script and not check it. I'll leave you with that thought. Good night, God bless, sweet dreams.
What the was that?
You boom.
It comes from China.
My speaker's got deep bass, balanced mids, and a bright high.
Yes, mine sounds exactly the same.